as Tech usually does. They play well, whether it's in their building or on the road. And it was a great series. They were able to get game one, and we were able to get game two, and close the book on the regular season. And now we're looking forward to playoffs. It's an exciting time, and I know Lake State's going to come in here excited. They played us real tough here twice earlier, and we're just looking forward to the playoffs getting started.
All right, we'll open it for questions. Kevin Dudley of the Free Press, you can go first.
Mike, now that you've had some time to, decompress and, maybe compartmentalize what happened last weekend, winning a sixth straight conference title, how impressive is that accomplishment when you get to think about it a little bit more here?
Well, and I talked to you a little bit after the game, Kevin, on just, I think that's something as coaches and as players, we, over the second half, we've tried to just focus on our dailies, and once a day is put to bed, worry about it the next day. So the guys took Sunday and Monday, we had a little bit of a flush day, and then got back to work on Tuesday. I think that's something we'll think a little bit more about after the season is done. Very appreciative of what the guys accomplished in the regular season. Happy for them. Happy to see some of our seniors on a night that they were being honored for their contributions throughout a 4-year career, and with Andy Carroll 5, contribute in that game in meaningful ways as far as the score sheet. So happy for them, but now the page has been turned, that book's been closed, and I know those guys are focused on the playoffs.
Kevin, you got a follow-up?
I'll ask about Lake State. We saw them in your building in January, and very competitive, very committed to defending. I thought clearly they've played really good hockey of late since that series. I think they're 5-3. They're coming off a sweep at Ferris. To talk about what they bring and what the things you'll have to do to beat them up.
Things. One, first of all, Louis Bedon is probably one of the best. I think he was a preseason first teamer. I know he got my vote because of the amount of respect I have for him as a player. Damon Witten, every single time you play him, you see something different. Whether it's face-offs, whether it's what they're doing defending, whether it's something they're doing special teams-wise. His attention to detail is, I think, one of the best in the league. And so you combine that with, at the end of the year, all these guys are trying to continue their careers at where they're at, whether it's for the team that they're playing for or showing themselves very well. So at this time of the year, it's, win or go home. And that's the same for both of us. We're just trying to extend our season and have this group stay together a little bit longer, and Lake State's doing the same. So we're going to have to earn anything we get at this time of the year, as it has been really over the second half. There are no easy outs. And so from our standpoint, we've got a lot of work in front of us, and we've got another day here to make sure we get done before Friday gets here, and that's going to be our focus.
Tim Rappleye.
Coach, getting a player like Lucas Sauter back in your lineup, it's almost like a trade deadline getting a slugger. He's produced a lot. What is his injection into your offense meant to you guys?
Well, Tim, I think it's a great point by you. Very observant, and he has an impact in the most important game of our season by scoring that first power play goal. And he's slowly coming because he had been out for an extended period of time. But he's somebody that comes in and played a top six role. He came in and played a power play role. He ate up a lot of minutes for us. He's somebody that we trust, his teammates trust. He's been in some very big games for us over the time that he's been here. Anytime you can interject that into your lineup, you're going to be better, and we were. And it's going to be nice right now. Josh Grohl, who's been out for a while, has been practicing for the last 2 weeks and was cleared on Monday and is going full go. So we're hoping to have another guy that's had some experience up and down the time that he's been here. He's made some impacts, and he's going to be back in the lineup. So hopefully both those guys can make impacts on this weekend.
Carson.
Coach, it seemed like towards the beginning of the year, in terms of consistency, David Celia was really the only person on the score sheet that was, it seemed like contributing night in and night out, and there was a lot of questions surrounding the goaltending position. In your talks with some of the guys in your relationships with some of those seniors, do you feel like, you know, now come crunch time, they're really starting to step up and get maybe more comfortable now towards the second half of the season compared to where they are at the start?
Well, every season's a unique journey for each one of these young men, and you might think just because something either went well or didn't the year before, that's what's going to happen the following year, and it doesn't work that way. This game is cruel. It's unforgiving. Our league's unforgiving. You've got to go and earn it every day. And some guys got off to really good starts. Some guys didn't. I really like the impact that our veterans had over the weekend. Keenan Rancier's been a guy that's stepped up since the second half started and has done his job. I also think seeing Brendan Furry and seeing Kate Borchardt, seeing Souter, seeing that group of guys that have been here before and done some things. David Cillier, who's really worked hard on his own game to help us get to this point, have some success at a really important time of the year. And we're going to need that. Different guys step up at different times. And right now, we just turned to March. And I know basketball's got the coined phrase March Madness. This is when you need guys to step up. If you're going to have any success at this time of the month, you got to have good goaltending. Your special teams better be dialed, and you've got to have multiple guys contribute in different ways, whether we have it or we don't have it. When I'm talking about the puck, so I'm excited about what this group has in front of them, and I think they're excited about the opportunity to be playing Friday at home in their own building.
Don Westfall.
Coach, could you talk a little bit about just especially all season long, but certainly here in the second half, the contributions you're getting more and more, it seems more steady play from guys like Bellini and Malinowski and Wheeler, who maybe earlier in the season, you could tell that they had the experience, but now I think to some degree here, the second half of the season since Christmas, their contributions providing more playing time for you and what they've added to the defensive core.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do it justice. Those guys, when you're not in the middle of it and you're behind somebody like Jack McNeely or you're behind somebody like Wyatt Amott, and you're somebody that hasn't had the role that those guys have had at this time and over this season, it can be a little bit intimidating. But I do think those young men have done a really good job at taking some of the experiences that they've witnessed, that they've been through with that group and applied them to their opportunities right now. Psychos, Wheeler, Bellini, Malinowski, those are guys that are playing significant minutes, significant roles. You saw the goal that Bellini scored when we were at Bemidji. For us, those guys needed to mature and needed to continue to grow, and they've done that, and they've been somebody that their teammates believe in because of the work ethic that they've put in and how they've performed when they've been put into those spots.
Dudley.
Just in terms of what you've had in the past with this roster, what they've been through in these playoff situations, they've won so many games, game after game, in these tournament postseason, win or you go home type situations, and that's kind of what you're going to be facing going forward here the rest of the month, and hopefully for you guys into April. But do you feel like there's a confidence that this group has, going into those situations, given that they've been successful in them so much in the past?
I do think experience is your best teacher, but it does not guarantee just because there's been some past success that you're going to have success moving forward. Our league is as compacted. College hockey is as compacted. I mean, from just the difference between winning and losing is so minute, and the parity through all of college hockey, I think, is at an all-time high. So, we want to draw on those experiences. We want those guys to feel comfortable. I think they're just excited about, our regular season's done. Now we move on to the next level. This is a time of year that things happen in a hurry. You're playing one game, and this weekend, one team season in this series is going to be done. And so, you want to take advantage of that opportunity. That's what I think the guys are excited about. I hope they do draw on the experiences that they've had in these situations and be excited about the opportunity.
Tim.
Coach, how confident is your power play? 3 against Tech, who gives up no power play goals, must give you some confidence.
Well, it's kind of the same thing there too. It's good to have some success at this time. It's definitely better than going over for a weekend or 2 or 3. You've got to have some breaks. You've got to be able to have different guys step up at different times, and they did. You look at Borchardt, who I think that was his 4th goal. It'd been a while since he'd scored a power play goal. David Cillier doing what he's been doing for us. Akito Hiroshi running it from up top, but then even secondary, another power play group with for Brendan Furry and Andy Carroll contributing. We had 2 groups that contributed this weekend. I think to be successful over this time frame, you need different guys to step up, and those guys did that. So hopefully they feel good about it. Our power play session this week has been good, but they're going to have to go out and earn it against a group that's trying to do everything they can to keep it out of their net.
Couple more here for Coach Kevin.
There's been a lot of talk this week, just leading into the playoffs, about how competitive these series this week can have the chance to be, just given, how competitive the league has been all year, like you've said. Do you think the league right now, I mean, I guess in its current form, I know there's been changes, but in its recent history, is as competitive as you've seen it, maybe?
Yeah, every year it just seems like it continues to grow in that manner. And this is, there's, go ahead and whether you were sitting in our staff's room, or I'd even have to believe in our locker room, nobody's looking at this when the playoffs start and say, boy, I hope we play this team, or I hope we play that team. Every team in our conference this year has given us trouble. Look at the Lake State series. We had to win the first game in overtime. The second one, I think I can't remember if it was an empty netter, but I know it was in the last minute to win a 2-goal game. Ferris State had come in here and swept us. Bemidji came in here and swept us. It doesn't matter who you're playing right now in our league at this time. You have to be good enough to end somebody's season, to progress your own, and it's going to be no different here. So I think it's a great challenge for us, and it's something the guys are excited about.
Tim, I'll give you the final question here for Coach Hastings.
The recent statistics of Langenegger as a goalie, like a 932, 935, 940 save percentage in last 5 games. You've got to beat another elite goalie this weekend.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing that up based upon one thing. The quality of goaltending in our league this year, I think, has gone a little unnoticed. He's done a great job for him. And you look at the teams that are getting it at this time, they're the teams that are winning hockey games. You look at Piatala, you can go up and down. You look at the run that Northern's on right now, and Halas, and what his numbers are over that time. You have to have it at this time of the year. And he, anytime that he's played against us, he's been very good, and he's on a hot streak right now. So like I said, good goaltending. Their special teams have been good. They're, I think, 5-3 in their last 8. They went into Ferris State and swept Ferris. There's not a lot of teams that do that. So I think they're going to be coming in here with an awful lot of confidence, and we're going to be playing a goaltender that's playing very well. And so we're going to have to get to the net and stay there, and make sure that we make it as difficult as we can on him.
Yeah, I mean, over my career, we've definitely made this place an extremely hard place to play in, and have had a ton of success. And yeah, I mean, we've probably lost more games this year than I might have total in my career, but that chapter is kind of behind us right now. We're looking forward to playoff hockey, and making sure that this place continues to be an extremely hard place to earn wins, and obviously the fans and our student section are huge parts of that. So we're going to be ready to go.
Kevin Dudley.
And now you've had some time to compartmentalize it and process it after a crazy win Saturday night. 6 straight McNaughton Cups now for this program. You've been a part of 5 of them. I know it. I think sometimes you guys make it look easy, but just how impressed are you with that accomplishment and what this program has been able to do over that time frame?
Yeah, like you said, 5 straight, 6 straight for the program. Just speaks testaments to truly the culture here at MSU, and not taking too many steps ahead. Trying to stay in the present. Truly, what's an important now mentality, and I think it's a big testament to this team, to teams before. Truly unprecedented territory we're in right now. But yeah, I'm 2 for 4 in my career with postseason championships. One of those, obviously, my sophomore year when it got canceled. So gonna make a big push for 3 and just continue moving on here.
Tim?
I was wondering if you could talk to me about the mindset of that power play with a minute and change to go on Saturday night. You had a pretty well constructed play. Can you take us through it and also your mindset going into it?
Yeah, we had gotten 2 earlier off the power play. Obviously, one in the second with Lucas Sauter's goal, and then a redirection with Cillier from the top with Akito. And yeah, when they took that penalty, we were like, hey, you know what? Like, we're in a good spot. Snap it around the outside, like make them, come and get it. And sure enough, it ends up in the back of our net. And it was kind of like, okay, what just happened? But we still have a chance on the power play to go and win this hockey game at home just in a remarkable fashion. So obviously we took a deep breath, lining up for the face-off. Fergie and I were just like, hey, like, we got this. Like, we've done this how many times before, where, you get somewhere around a minute to score a goal, whether that be in practice or preseason, whatever it is. And we went out there and we're hockey players. If you look at our setup on film or video, that's the spot where Lucas Sauter was when he scored the first goal, but Kate Borchardt was there. And that's just, our guys, that unit just being hockey players and finding a way to make a play. And obviously an unbelievable finish by Borchy and an incredible kind of story finish.
Carson?
And you obviously talk about how emotional and dramatic that game was, and especially with it being, your 5th year. How have you guys, maybe you and, some of your teammates, just been able to turn the page now and reset, knowing what's at stake for you guys this weekend and for the rest of the season moving forward?
I think we're all very aware of where we stand in the nation right now, but we're not looking at it as hey, this is a ton of pressure. This is an unbelievable opportunity for our program to earn our way in, which we haven't had to do very often, and to win 4 games. We've done it plenty of times this year, and yeah, we're we've got some younger guys on our team who have had playoff experience in juniors, but we've got a lot of guys who have played on our back-to-back Frozen Four teams, and truly played in big games where each team might get 1 or 2 power plays, and that's about it. So I think a big emphasis this week is just understanding finishing pucks 5-on-5, because that's what it's going to take coming down the stretch here.
Kevin?
You kind of referenced this, Andy, but they're just, now that you're at this time of the season where it's, one and done. I mean, a loss can end your season. There's a lot of guys on this team that have had a lot of success in those situations the last 2 years and have won a lot of big games, close games, blowouts, come from behind wins, in all different kind of games and those type of situations. Do you feel like that experience will breed confidence over the next month plus here?
Yeah, exactly. Just like I was saying earlier, right? Like we have a lot of guys on our team, both up front, back end, obviously backup goalies, who have been in those games and been a part of those games and understand what the bench feels like, what the locker room feels like, just even our pregame skates, just everything. I don't want to say is different, but there's just a little heightened sense of hey, it's one and done, and whatever you need to do to prepare for that game. And yeah, like you said, like we've done it in every single fashion, right? You look back at the Quinnipiac game, comeback, Minnesota win. Last year against Harvard and Notre Dame, obviously two very close games. And yeah, so we've definitely had our mix, both in the positive and negative, when it comes to those win or go home type games. But I feel like we're really well versed right now in what it's going to take, and a true buy-in from every guy in that locker room to make sure that come this weekend we're ready to win.
Kevin, you got a follow up?
There's a lot of talk right now about the conference playoffs in these series this weekend, how close it could be, how many might go to the 3 games. You've been around the league a long time. Do you think that this year it's as competitive as you've ever seen it?
I would say college hockey in general. There seems to be fewer and fewer of the 5 and below losses, or lost teams this year, excuse me. I think, I don't know if it still stands, but I think Quinnipiac might be the only one. But yeah, it's just it's crazy right now, but it's exciting at the same time too, because as competitive athletes, those are the games you truly lived. Grew up playing in the basement, right? Tie game, 2 minutes left. Like you want to be out there on the ice making the play that sends your team into a victory. And but yeah, college hockey in general, I think, especially our league this year, has been extremely tight, and a lot of parity.